you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody, or good morning still. Yesterday, Secretary Austin and I were able to brief the President on the tremendous work that's being done to support our hospitals right now. At FEMA, we've been part of this COVID mission since day one, beginning with supporting jurisdictions with medical personnel, acquiring and shipping personal protective equipment, medical equipment, opening testing sites, and deploying federal resources in support of our state, local, territorial, and tribal members. As we approach the one-year anniversary of opening our first community vaccination center in California, just one of the thousands we supported across the country, FEMA and our over 20,000 strong workforce continues to meet the ongoing requirements of the pandemic. Our support to our partners hasn't stopped and will not stop until this pandemic is over. We know that the most critical need right now is medical staffing for our hospitals, and we've been working nonstop with the Departments of Defense and Health and Human Services, who have been on the grounds in communities since day one, to push even more medical teams out the door to communities who need it most. Services. I've seen firsthand the impacts of these teams on their continued heroic efforts. During my time as commissioner in New York City for emergency management, at the very beginning of this pandemic, I had the privilege of speaking with the chief nursing officer at Elmhurst Hospital, which was at the time the epicenter of the epicenter in those very early days, and listened to her address the Department of Defense medical team as they were concluding their mission at their hospital. She said, with tears in her eyes, "You were the miracle we needed when we needed it most." DoD continues to deliver on those miracles every day as they stand shoulder to shoulder with the heroes working on the front line in your communities. Yesterday, I spoke with Governors Whitmer and DeWine, who both said separately that these teams, in addition to adding more clinical capacity, are a morale boost to the doctors, the nurses, and the support staff in the hospitals that they're working in. And they have been working day and night to save lives. So now, DoD is deploying 6 additional teams to Ohio, Michigan, Rhode Island, New Jersey, New York, and New Mexico. We will also be deploying an additional HHS team to Rhode Island. And in the next several weeks, we are prepared to do more. These teams are in addition to more than 1,000 staff that are already deployed to 26 states, 2 territories, the District of Columbia, and 24 tribal nations. And since March of 2020, since the beginning of this pandemic, thousands of federal personnel have deployed all over our country. As critical as our doctors and nurses are, countless other professionals keep our hospitals running. Patient transporters, food workers, and cleaning staff are all at the heart of these healthcare facilities. And so for that reason, with the President's support, I am now directing an expansion of our FEMA policy to permit funding to states who elect to use their National Guard troops to fill these critical support roles in hospitals. With the President's support. During every disaster, FEMA's strength is our ability to coordinate with other stakeholders, federal, state, local, tribal, private, and nonprofit partners to identify gaps and meet needs. And this COVID mission has been no different. We meet with our DoD, HHS, and other federal partners daily to anticipate future needs and fill those requests. FEMA has also been supporting communities across the country through nearly $100 billion in funding for all types of COVID-related needs, including vaccination, safely opening and operating schools and other public facilities, and testing, thanks to an unprecedented commitment by this administration. This funding, combined with the extraordinary work of DoD, HHS, and our other federal partners, has enabled states and local communities to fight this pandemic, save lives, and protect families. This pandemic has shifted and changed through the Delta variant and now the Omicron variant, but our commitment and the commitment of the entire federal family has not changed. Together, we will continue to surge staff, push resources, and provide support using every tool that we have available to fight our fight against COVID-19. Thank you. I'll take a few questions.
All right. Lisa.
Thank you, and thank you so much for being here, Administrator. Manpower is one thing, but I know you've talked about in the past too, having to make sure they have somewhere to work and that there are hospital beds. So for these 6 particular states and hospitals that have been identified, are you building out capacity, adding more physical space for the teams to work?
In these specific states, these 6 states, we are just sending staff. That is the request that they had. Our regional administrators have been in constant communication with our state emergency management directors and state public health directors throughout this pandemic, and we have been conducting recently facility expansion assistance to all of the states. Right now, we've had a few states that have requested some assistance in helping to identify where they may be able to expand, but we've had no specific requests to expand hospital capacity outside of maybe setting up a tent outside of their emergency room to be able to support triage efforts.
Thank you. Alex? Oh.
I do have a question. You know, this has been a year of unprecedented natural disasters, as well as obviously a global pandemic that has no end in sight at this point. Are you largely relying on ARP funding, or are you hoping to get more funding from the administration going forward as we're looking at another year of ongoing challenges?
Yeah, the funding that FEMA uses is through our Disaster Relief Fund, and right now for all the requirements that we have on our plate, we have enough funding within that to meet all of those demands.
Jeremy?
Thank you, Administrator, for doing this. What kind of feedback were you getting from governors or hospitals that led to this decision and this added flexibility? And then secondly, I'm also wondering, you know, next week there's, I guess, 120 military members going as part of the 6-state deployment. That's out of the, I think, 1,000 military members that the President has said he would mobilize this coming month. So why are you only sending 120 right now at a time when there are, you know, nearly 24 states, I think, that have 85% plus ICU bed capacity? Are there not more requests coming in, or what are you waiting for to deploy the rest of that 1,000?
Yeah, great questions. And so on the first question, remind me the first question again real fast.
The feedback that you're getting from
Right.
governors and hospitals.
So again, my regional administrators, they've been communicating with our state directors daily. And one of the things that that we have heard recently is, while we do need medical staffing, there's a lot of other functions within the hospital that need additional staffing, in particular because of the Omicron variant and how it's taking other staff within the hospital out. And so we've been able to expand our policy in order to make sure that we're providing whatever type of resources are available to keep those hospitals functioning. So an incredible step forward to make sure that they can keep moving. As far as where we're at with the deployment of personnel going out, the Department of Defense, through FEMA, we have been sending Department of Defense personnel out throughout this pandemic. We sent several teams out during the Delta surge, and we started to evaluate what we thought the impacts would be for the Omicron variant earlier in December. And that's where the initial announcement was made that we were going to send 1,000 additional personnel from the Department of Defense. As we get requests from our state partners for what they need, these are the requests that we have right now, and we're filling those based on when they can receive them.
Thank you for the question. So what's the point of now sending N95 or KN95 masks out to Americans if a lot of those masks are just single daily use? Like somebody wears it once, then what?
Masks save lives, I think, is the important thing here. And we want to make sure that everybody has the tools and resources that they need in order to protect themselves and their families.
Go in the back.
Administrator, thank you so much for taking my question. I just want to ask you, is there any plan, you said your agency is willing to do more, but is there any plan to set up perhaps more of those mass testing sites, federally run testing sites or the vaccination sites to help stop the spread, but also get people tested? We know that the administration is planning to send out those rapid tests, but the PCR test, of course, is more accurate. So is there a plan to do more in some of those hard-hit states across the country?
Absolutely. So again, we're working with our states to identify what their needs are. You know, there's many parts of the country that have built up internal capacity across their states, but those areas that need that additional testing sites, we are available to set those up. We've been partnering with the Centers for Disease Control, and we are setting those up now, and we'll continue to do so, you know, as the states need them and as they request them.
Brian's going to have the last one.
Thanks a lot, Administrator. When you came on in April and FEMA's had mass vaccination sites that it's rolled out, I think that one of the questions is right now the President just announced that they're going to triple a stockpile of PPE, get masks out to Americans, and also try to expand the testing capacity and home test kits. Did FEMA weight too much of its resources toward vaccinations, or should it have also been surging that capacity months ago in testing and PPE?
FEMA's role has always been to support our hospitals, our schools, and our public service agencies. We have been supporting them through the delivery and reimbursement for PPE, for medical staff that we're sending out. That has not changed, and that support will continue. The additional support that's coming out for the general population is something that FEMA does not participate in, and those are the issues that, or the items that you're hearing are going to be announced and available to the general public later.
When it comes to testing sites, FEMA's rolled out public testing sites. Why not surge public testing sites 3 months ago in anticipation that there would be surges of variants?
Again, we're working with our states routinely, and we're hearing what their needs are, and we're basing our support to them on what they need. And so as they request additional assistance, that's when we come together and give them the assistance that they need.
Thank you, Administrator Criswell. Appreciate you coming. You're
Thank you,
always
Jen.
welcome and invited.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. I know, again, we have short time here, so I just have 2 items for you at the top. Since President Biden signed the bipartisan infrastructure law 60 days ago, the Biden-Harris administration has hit the ground running to deliver results. We've made key progress toward implementing the largest long-term investment in America's infrastructure and competitiveness in nearly a century. The Department of Transportation today announced a historic investment under the bipartisan infrastructure law to modernize, repair, and replace approximately 15,000 bridges nationwide. That's a lot of bridges. This is the single largest dedicated bridge investment since the construction of the interstate highway system, and provides more than $27 billion to states and tribal transportation facilities. Obviously, there will be more to come, and you'll hear the president soon. Another little bit of news for all of you, and we'll have more in the week ahead, I expect, in the coming days. But next Wednesday, the president will hold a formal press conference at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So we look forward to seeing you there, and to the president looks forward to speaking directly to the American people. I'm going to try to go to the people who didn't get questions and then come back around if that works. So go ahead.
I wanted to follow up on the cyber attack against the Ukraine.
Yeah.
I know the NSC said it was too soon to attribute the attack, but could you say where early indications are pointing?
Well, let me first say that because I know there's been a lot of questions, understandably, on this. So let me try to address a few of them as well, if that's okay. The United States and our allies and partners are concerned about this cyber attack, and the president has been briefed. We are also in touch with the Ukrainians and have offered our support as Ukraine investigates the impact and nature and recovers from the incidents. We don't have attribution at this time, and I can't point to any more specifics. I know the Ukrainians also announced and conveyed that they got their systems up and running pretty quickly, and that personal data was not accessed. We will continue to, of course, work with them and assess any additional impacts. We're continuing to consult with allies and partners, including Ukraine, on this. You might have also seen NATO's statement as well, which says that they are also exchanging information with Ukraine. So that's where the status stands right now. I think it's important to note the Ukrainian statements on this, which convey very, very clearly that they were able to get their systems up and running.
If it is determined that Russia was behind the attack, how would the U.S. respond to that?
I'm just not going to speculate on that or preview what actions we would take at this time. I would just note that we will take necessary and proper steps, of course, to defend our allies, support our partners, and support the Ukrainian people, but we're still assessing that at this point in time.
Could you describe in a little more detail what sort of support the U.S. has been providing Ukraine on the cyber front, like over the last few months?
I'm happy to check with our team and see if we can detail that more to all of you specifically. We have been in touch with them, working with them on many levels, and certainly the threat of cyber attacks is something that has impacted a number of countries throughout Europe, throughout the world. We've providing, of course, best practices, the expertise we have in the U.S. government, but I can see if we can detail that more specifically. Chris, go ahead.
I know there have been some challenges this week, but zooming out kind of even more, what's your message to Democratic voters out there who said they voted for lawmakers to protect voting rights, turn the tide on global warming, lower prescription drug prices, reform police departments, raise the minimum wage, tackle student debt, and have gotten none of it?
Our message to them is that we're still fighting for absolutely every component of what you just listed. And that right now, we're dealing with the realities of the fact that we have a very slim majority in the Senate and in the House. That makes things more challenging than they have been in the past. I would also note, and I bet a lot of Americans who have conveyed their advocacy for a lot of those issues the president cares deeply about, have also cared deeply about getting the pandemic under control, have also cared deeply about ensuring schools are open across the country, that small businesses are functioning, that our economy is up and running. And those have been the top issues basically in every piece of data we've seen across the board. So the message from the president to them is he is committed to continuing to fight. You heard him say this week that voting rights, the rights of people to express their views at the polls is something that is fundamental to him, and he's going to stay at it.
One last thing. Do you have any news for us on the president holding a formal news conference?
I just announced one at the top. Chris, we've just caught you. It's okay. I now relate to your teachers in high school and what they may have experienced, but it's okay.
I'll look for the media clip.
Yeah, there you go. It's to be fair, it is a Friday and a very busy news week, so everybody should take any pressure off of Chris. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. And we have not met before, so welcome to the briefing room.
Thank you. Is the president planning any sort of staff shakeup or changes at the White House given recent setbacks, including inflation at a 40-year high, the Supreme Court blocking the vaccine mandate, and the collapse of voting rights legislation?
Well, I would say the other way to look at the last year is that 200 million Americans are now vaccinated. More than 80% of Americans have received at least one dose. If you look back to a year ago, only about 35% of people were willing to do that. Through the president's action and leadership, we have made vaccines available across the country. Boosters, we have provided more supply to the global community, 400 million doses, than any other country in the world. We've had record economic growth in this country. We have record low unemployment rates in this country. And we are getting out of a pandemic and the economic downturn tied to it at a rate that is faster than anyone thought would have happened. We have confirmed more judges that look like America, that are diverse like this country, than almost any other administration in history. And again, the truth is, an agenda doesn't wrap up in 1 year. We are going to continue to fight for every component of his agenda and his plans for his presidency that he outlined when he was running for president.
Can you confirm that a coronavirus emergency spending request is coming, and what details can you provide on that?
Well, we are always in touch with Congress and leaders in Congress about what needs the American people have as we continue to fight the pandemic. That has been the case continuously throughout the pandemic. And that remains the case today. I don't have anything to preview for you, but I would just echo what Speaker Pelosi said over the weekend, couple days ago, where she said that we weren't going to let resources get in the way of fighting the pandemic. That continues to be our view, but I have nothing to preview at this point in time. But those conversations are ongoing. Go ahead.
I have a couple of questions, and one from my colleague at VOA.
Sure.
My first question is, the administration's response as hundreds of nurses with the National Nurses United held demonstrations demanding for safer COVID conditions, and they talked about there's not necessarily a shortage of nurses, but many are not willing to work in what they feel like are unsafe conditions and feel like some of the protections are being weakened.
Well, I would say first that we believe there should be strict and stringent requirements in medical and in hospitals and medical facilities to keep the people who are working there safe and also to keep the patients safe. And I would just note that yesterday the Supreme Court continued to is allowing for the CMS requirement to move forward, which is an important component of keeping people who are patients safe, but also keeping workers in a lot of facilities safe. A number of hospital systems across the country have implemented vaccine requirements, which we certainly support, and they've been very successful. So we continue to encourage others to do the same.
With MLK coming, is there anything that we can expect to hear from the president? Any type of new strategy, any plan, and what is he going to be doing on that day?
I expect we'll have more details. I certainly understand the interest. We're dealing with Mother Nature here with the storm, and so we are adjusting and making some plans for how he will commemorate a very important day in our history. But I expect we'll have more details for that, hopefully in the next 24 hours.
From VOA, just a quick question. Confirmation on that the U.S. has information that indicates Russia has pre-positioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine, as reported by CNN.
Yeah, I do have some detail on this. Let me confirm for you. So, as you all have heard us say many times, we are concerned that the Russian government is preparing for an invasion in Ukraine that may result in widespread human rights violations and war crimes should diplomacy fail to meet their objectives. As part of its plans, Russia is laying the groundwork to have the option of fabricating a pretext for invasion. And we've seen this before. We saw this before leading up to 2014, just to note, including through sabotage activities and information operations, by accusing Ukraine of preparing an imminent attack against Russian forces in eastern Ukraine, and the Russian military plans to begin these activities several weeks before a military invasion, which could begin between mid-January and mid-February. Again, we saw this playbook before, including the widespread effort to push out misinformation, not just in Eastern Europe, but around the global community. We have information that indicates Russia has already pre-positioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in Eastern Ukraine. The operatives are trained in urban warfare and in using explosives to carry out acts of sabotage against Russia's own proxy forces. Our information also indicates that Russian influence actors are already starting to fabricate Ukrainian provocations in state and social media to justify a Russian intervention and sow divisions in Ukraine. For example, Russian officials and influence actors are emphasizing narratives about the deterioration of human rights in Ukraine and the increased militancy of Ukrainian leaders. This is all the spreading of misinformation. These media narratives also blame the West for escalating tension, highlight humanitarian issues in Ukraine that Russian intervention could solve, and promote Russian patriotism to encourage domestic support for military action. And finally, during December, Russian language content on social media covering all three of these narratives increased to an average of nearly 3,500 posts per day, a 200% increase from the daily average in November. So it's important to note what people are seeing out there and to call out this misinformation that is being spread to as a false flag operation, and there's a number of tactics that they're using in that regard. Let me go to the back. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jan. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said today that Moscow have run out of patience with the West. So how patient is President Biden with Russia's aggressive behavior? And another one, the AFP news agency reports that Ukraine proposes three-way crisis summit with President Biden, Putin, and Zelensky. Are you open to such a format?
I have nothing to preview in terms of the next steps on negotiations or talks. Everybody's back in their capitals now having conversations about that. I will note that the president's view and our view is that this is up to President Putin and Russia to determine what the path forward is. We are ready regardless of what they decide. If they decide they're going to invade Ukraine, there are going to be economic consequences that go far beyond 2014. If they decide they want to engage in diplomatic conversations and talks, we are very open to that, and we're hopeful they will do that. But ultimately, it's a choice they need to make. And so I would suggest you ask them that question. Go.
What about the President Biden's patience with what Russia is doing?
Again, it's not about that. It's about Russia deciding what path they're going to take. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Hi, so President Biden yesterday said that he will be providing, or the administration will be providing, high-quality masks to Americans for free.
Yeah.
However, health experts have been saying for quite some time now that better masks are crucial against Omicron. So why is the White House late to making them available for free?
We aren't. We actually have already provided 30 million masks across the country. We have built a stockpile of 750 million masks in the government, and this is about expanding and building upon providing high-quality masks out to people across the country. And I would say of the money that was used from the American Rescue Plan to keep schools open, some of that was used for PPE. A lot of funding that has already been approved over the course of the last year plus has been used for PPE as well. So this is building on those steps. I just want to get around to everybody. Oh, go ahead.
Just one more. So Kamala Harris was put in charge of voting rights. Why wasn't she with the president at the crucial Senate lunch to sell the bill?
Well, the vice president has been selling the bill across the country, obviously delivering speeches, providing, engaging and meeting with activists. She was also working the phones over the last couple of days and has played a pivotal role. No question, will continue to moving forward. Go ahead.
Thanks so much, Jen.
Oh wait, actually, let me just make sure I get to everybody and then I'll come around. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. Last March, President Biden signed an executive order encouraging federal agencies to help expand access to the ballot. Can you get an update on how federal agencies have dealt with that in the past year or so?
In terms of how they've implemented it and steps they've taken, we can absolutely get you one, and get you one from what agency to agency, what they've been doing, and that was something. Yeah.
In Congress, could we expect any more executive orders like that or actions from the federal government that don't require Congress?
I will say we are going to continue to look for ways to protect and expand the rights of the American people to have access to voting. And in addition to that executive order, the Department of Justice, as you know, doubled their funding and support for the protection of voting rights. We also have been working with organizations all across the country who are building diverse coalitions to pass pro-voter laws and push back against those that make it harder to vote and threaten free and fair administration of elections, in addition to doing the critical work to register and educate voters. These organizations have built grassroots leadership at the state level, including among state legislators and across the Latino, African American, AAPI, Native American communities among young people. And they're providing also training, policy research, messaging guidance, and direct organizing to register voters and deploying voter protection teams. So we are working certainly at the federal level, also at the grassroots level, and we will continue to look for ways to protect people's fundamental rights. George, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to go back to the first year anniversary and ask you if there's anything that surprised you in the first year. And I'm thinking of a couple things that weren't being talked about. A year ago at inauguration, everybody was excited about vaccines. Now you have anti-vax groups. Trump was being impeached. Now he controls the opposition party. And there was no talk of inflation at the time of the
A lot's happened in a year. I would say, actually, if we look back at data, around the time or shortly before the inauguration, only about a third of the American public was willing to get vaccinated, and now we're over 80%. So actually, that's an area where there has been an enormous amount of progress made. There has been some surprising components, including the fact that many people who were opposed to getting vaccinated, we assumed that because it was a vaccine that was approved, one of them at least, under a Republican president, that the FDA had given formal approval in September, and obviously given the dire impacts of the virus, that there wouldn't be as much vaccine hesitancy. But that's one of the reasons that we took a number of the steps we did over the course of the fall. I would say that, of course, you look back and there are initiatives and that the president has fought for that have historically not been partisan. And I don't know if that's a surprise, but voting rights is certainly an example of them. And as I've said a few times from here, there are 16 Republicans sitting in the Senate who have supported voting rights protections in the past. So I'm not sure if that's surprising, but that certainly is not a development in the right direction.
Has he been surprised at the difficulty in bringing Republicans along to his views?
Well, I think a lot of people are surprised 19 Republicans voted for the infrastructure bill and 5 or 6 voted in the Senate and 5 or 6 voted in the House. There are again initiatives and policies that have historically had bipartisan support, like voting rights, that have become unfortunately perceived as a partisan issue. Go ahead.
Back to Russia, just hours before that cyber attack on Ukraine, Ukraine's ambassador here in Washington told CBS News that her country believed a cyber attack would precede any major military action by Putin's forces. I think you touched on this when you were talking about the groundwork being laid, but just to be more clear, does the administration view cyber attacks as a signal that Russia plans to invade?
I'm not going to give an assessment of that from here. I would just note it's also important that to include the context of the fact that Ukrainian officials have spoken to the impact of this specific attack. We know that cyber is a tool that many actors across the world use as a form of warfare. We have seen that only increase in recent years. But in terms of what the chain of events would be or will be, I just don't have anything more for you on that.
Has the cyber attack and the false flag ops that you talked about, has that changed the assessment of how probable a military invasion would be compared to yesterday before these two incidents?
I think it gives everyone a pretty clear picture of what we're seeing in terms of the preparations. Now, whether or not they move forward, that is up to the Russian leaders to decide. But the fact that they are laying out, to your point, Leisha, these false flag operations, that they are sowing the seeds of misinformation, that does give you an indication of all of the preparations that are underway.
And then I have one question on Iran.
Sure.
Because Blinken was very frank yesterday in an interview, and he said there are just a few weeks left to reach mutual compliance with Iran because they are just a few weeks away from having enough material for a nuclear weapon. So can you talk about what this final push for an agreement looks like and how realistic it is given there are only a few weeks left?
I, of course, agree with Secretary Blinken. I mean, I was going to say he's absolutely right, which seems like a silly thing to say, but I would note, Weijia, that it is a critical time. This is how the president sees it as well. Though there has been some progress made in negotiations, if we don't reach an understanding soon on mutual return to compliance, we will have to consider a different path forward. And the bottom line is the president is not going to allow Iran to possess a nuclear weapon. And as Secretary Blinken noted, they have made progress. And this is no thanks to the decision by the former president to pull out of the Iran nuclear agreement, despite promises that they would agree on a stronger agreement, that Iran would not move forward. They have done exactly those things. Exactly those things they predicted would not happen have happened. That is why we're in the point we are in. But that means several weeks ago, the president asked his team to prepare a range of options. They have done that. And obviously, our preference is always diplomacy. Okay, Peter, go ahead, last one.
Thank you, Jen. President Biden promised to bring decades of D.C. experience to the Oval Office, but Build Back Better has not passed, voting rights apparently not going to pass, and vaccine requirements that he likes are apparently illegal. What happened?
Well, first, Peter, I would say if you look back at last year and what we were able to accomplish, that include getting the American Rescue Plan passed, a package that has contributed to cutting childhood poverty by 40%, has helped ensure we are moving at a faster pace toward economic growth, toward a record low unemployment rate, helped ensure schools, more than 95%, are open across the country. He also pressed, despite skeptics, to get a bipartisan infrastructure bill passed, one that we're just announcing today, the fact that 15,000 bridges are going to be repaired. That was despite many skeptics. And because of his efforts, 200 million Americans are now vaccinated. The work of an administration continues after 1 year, and he will continue to press forward on all of those priorities.
But as you talked about a year ago and working with Republicans, now he is talking about Republicans that don't agree with voting rights. He's describing them as George Wallace, Bull Connor, and Jefferson Davis. What happened to the guy who, when he was elected, said, to make progress, we must stop treating our opponents as our enemy?
I think everybody listening to that speech who's speaking on the level, as my mother would say, would note that he was not comparing them as humans. He was comparing the choice to those figures in history and where they're going to position themselves as they determine whether they're going to support the fundamental right to vote or not. One last thing. The Bengals are playing tomorrow. I'm just giving it a shout out so that my husband will be excited at home. They haven't won a playoff game in 31 years. Okay, we've got to wrap it up.
Can I get a quick,
yes, go ahead.
Can I get a quick update on, now that the dust has settled, are there any steps the administration is going to take going forward with respect to the vaccine mandate? And have you found that it was a success? And then one more update on yesterday. Are you guys still making calls this weekend on voting rights? It seems that Manchin and Sinema, even after coming to the White House, there's no hint that they're going to change their position. So, I mean, what do the next few days look like before that vote?
Well, I would say that the president's view, as you heard him say yesterday, is that we're going to continue to press to get this done moving forward. And that means continuing to engage with a range of officials who are supportive, some who have questions, and some who are skeptical. He obviously met with Senator Sinema yesterday afternoon, even after she made a public speech about her opposition to the filibuster. I think that's evidence of his continued commitment to keep engaging. As it relates to the vaccine requirements and what's next, as the president said yesterday, the Supreme Court has chosen to block common sense life-saving requirements for employees. We're, of course, immensely disappointed by that decision. It's now up to the states and individual employers to put in place vaccination requirements. Here are some pieces of good news, and this is a little updated from yesterday. Businesses and other employers have already taken these steps. Nearly 40% of Fortune 100 companies have vaccine requirements. In October, prior to the OSHA rule even coming out, a quarter of workers in the country were already subject to a requirement from their employer. By January, that number had risen to nearly 60% of employers requiring or planning to require vaccines. And since the administration began implementing requirements in July, we've gotten from 90 million to 30 million Americans unvaccinated. More work to be done, no question. It was good news that the CMS requirement for healthcare workers was kept in place. That will impact 10 to 11 million. And there are a number of companies across the country that are good models. We're going to continue to echo those. Okay, I don't want you to be late. Go ahead.
Just real quick, did the president move the needle at all with Senators Manchin and Sinema as it relates to voting rights in the filibuster?
I will let
yesterday?
them give an assessment of where they stand.
And I understand you guys think this is a fight worth having, but are you clear-eyed at least, and are you willing to tell your supporters to be clear-eyed that these votes next week on voting rights and on changing filibuster rules are going to fail?
If we believed everything every pundit said out there and listened to that, the president would not have run for office. He would not be president. We would not have an infrastructure bill that is law. We have heard what members have said. It is important about where they stand on the filibuster. The president is going to stay at it, as you heard him say yesterday, because he believes that voting rights is a fundamental right for people across the country. Thanks, everyone. Happy Friday.
Thanks, Jen.
Come on, man.
All right, everyone. We're going to get ready for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to put on the live with Old Man Walter. He's supposed to be on stage in the next 5 minutes. He's always super late, so I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to keep it running. So give me a second here while I set up the flag and everything. Also, I want to talk about hitting that like button. I don't know what happened. We used to be really good about it. The more likes that you hit all together as a group tells the algorithm to fill the chat up, to bring more people into the live. I don't know why we're slacking on the likes. I really don't. Yesterday and today has been really bad about it. When you have less than half the viewers hitting like on the video, we're all sitting here dead in the water. You got to hit that like button. We got to get this chat filled up. Let's get this pledge in. All right, everyone. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, just give me a second here. I got to flip the screens out. We're going to get Old Man Walter's live up. I don't know how late he's going to be. Maybe we'll do a poll on it. We'll see. Just give me a second. All right. We will see what this is about. Apparently, Old Man Walter is going to give us remarks on the bipartisan infrastructure law. We'll see how that goes. I'm wondering if it'll be like the last 2 or 3 times we had Old Man Walter on. Says he stammers through a few sentences and then they just cut the screen. They just cut the live on him. I wonder if we'll have another one of those. Let's do it. Let's do a poll. I got a bunch of questions here. Let's get a poll in. That's what she said. Oh, I guess I got to read the results from the first one. All right, here on YouTube, we ran a poll. What does Jen Psaki's hair smell like? We have 277 totally legitimate votes. 46% say her hair smells like lizard tank. 23% say smells like Hunter. 20% say members of the White House staff. And 11% believe that her hair smells like leave-in shampoo. There was no good answers, but they all ended up being good answers. Thank you everyone that participated in the poll. Let's get another one going. I love that I can sit here and hit these little soundbite buttons and make Jen Psaki look like even more of a fool and be totally ready to go. And as soon as I have to talk, my throat gets all messed up. And that's what she said. Now my voice box is all raspy because, it's time to be on the mic. That's how life works. Let's get a poll. I'm trying to think. What are we going to do? Let's go for something about Old Man Walter, I'm thinking. All right, there we go. Place your votes now on Old Man Walter. I wouldn't vote on Old Man Walter. He's not going to win the race, let me tell you. White Raspy Voice Box. It's a great rapper name. It could be better than half the rappers that are out right now. Little Toenail and all those people. I don't know. Rap sucks now. Music's trash right now. Has a lot to do with the people making it. Everybody's so woke. Woke and on drugs. Leonardo, I couldn't put in dementia babbling, that would have just took the cake. That would have been too easy. Everybody would have chose that. BC mumble rap. Yeah, that's what Old Man Walter is. He's a mumble rapper. You just didn't know it. He actually is, though. He's probably got gold records and stuff. We're over here hating on him. We're just jealous. That's what it is. We're jealous of Old Man Walter and his mumble rap skills. The real Jay Breeze, yeah, definitely. Rap sucks right now. I think all music sucks right now. Like, God forbid anyone's original. People treat being original like the plague. Like it's leper's disease. If you don't sound like everyone around you, then you got leper's disease. That's the way the world works right now. Mold Records, yep. Troy's hanging out with the Island Boys. Look at everybody bring up the Island Boys. Did they even make music? I think they just look ridiculous on TikTok. Jay Wright making a bet. Old Man Walter's gonna cough within the first 2 minutes. I'm gonna write it down. We're gonna take some votes here. All right, I got it wrote down. We will see. And get the timer ready. Yep, I got it wrote down. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Has anybody got less than 2 minutes? Anybody betting on less than 2 minutes? We'll do a poll. We'll do a poll here in a second. Danny, you're a DaBaby fan. I liked DaBaby when he first came out. I don't know. I haven't really listened to any of his new stuff. Sheep, he coughs as soon as the mask comes off. It's a true story. It's a true story. Old man Walter, I think he does like sneak dissing. He gets up there and he's like, fuck my predecessor. Trump did it. It's Trump's fault. He's sneak dissing. Ohio Kyle, he always coughs, walks up on the mic. Yep, every time. He can lean in to cough into the mic, and he can lean in to whisper. But when he's just regular talking, which has been a while, because lately he's been ranting, he'll just stand way back here and just start talking, and then he'll get really close and be like, "What do you think my leg hair smells like?" Like, just weirdo. Makes you feel all uncomfortable, like so uncomfortable. Well, he's officially 5 minutes late now. Nothing new. Hopefully he doesn't take an hour. There's been a couple times now we've waited on old man Walter and decided to take an hour nap starting when he was supposed to get on stage. What's up, JC? Elizabeth, just start drinking as soon as he starts talking. We'd all be trashed. I'd run the live like shit. Everybody in the audience is drunk. We definitely couldn't do that the other night with the protest. Corinne was, I bet she said my name almost 500 times. It was like nonstop. It took 48 hours to get her voice out of my head. Cheers, Mana. Captain Seamus, is that what it is? They couldn't get him clean on the first couple wipes. They need to bring in a specialist. That's probably what takes him so long. It probably what it is. The White House ass wiper. You think that's Jen Psaki? You think she runs up, takes care of him, or has he got like somebody totally separate? Could you imagine if our tax dollars were paying an employee to specifically wipe presidential ass? Can I say that? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna get that knock on the door now. Damn it. True Crazy, it's your fault, okay, you dusty bigot. Corinne is your fault. I'm just blaming you for that, okay? I don't know why these interactions happen, but they do. Corinne has to say my name 300 times like it's some sort of demonic seance or something. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's your fault. That's all I know is it's your fault. You need to get control of your girlfriend because she won't stop saying my name during the live, okay? It was a hard night. Trying to think how many of us were here. Probably like 500 people. She was saying my name. They were saying my name. It was a good time. You should have been there. Craig, Corinne's yours. You and Sugar Crazy. You guys are going to have to fist fight over Corinne. I'm telling you. Hey, Quest, it is not my fault. I just showed up. I didn't know I was going to be all popular and stuff, you know. Half you guys were getting shout outs too. She was sitting here reading the chat. Shouting out everybody. She was real fancy on Craig and Captain Seamus. She couldn't say his name, but you know. Kath, you think she's infatuated with me? I don't know. She might be a little fond of me. I'm not sure. Tiger jaw. He'll be at the fake White House child's desk setup. I'm thinking so. I'm thinking old man Walter, he'll probably be in the classroom. I like yesterday how they were like, yeah, well, you know, I think you should ask the president that and blah, 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 blah. You should ask him yourself. He'll be live tomorrow. Yada, yada. Yeah, wait to ask questions to the person that doesn't answer questions. That makes sense. Totally White House protocol. Ted Bell, she wanted something. Not sure. Electric Dog, where's the yelling whisperer? That's that's the best. That's the best. The yelling whisperer. Perfect description. What's up, Enterprise? You crack me up. Thank you so much, John, for joining the membership program, and welcome to the family. You're officially a hooligan. Thank you so much, Paul, for your donation and your support. I really appreciate you. Donnie, I don't know about all that. Okay, I don't know about all that. Corinne kind of scares me. She kind of scares me. She's got a lot of energy, and I'm like really chill. She likes to be center of attention. I don't know. She scares me. I don't know if I need to worry about all her dents and all that. Manna, that's your job. That's your job to send Corinne the hoodies and stuff. Come on now. It's not my job. I'm running the live. You got to deal with the merch. That's you. Live AZ Skies. Yeah, you're right. I'm not mafia enough. I'm not real mafia. You know, her bodyguard, he was real mafia. It wasn't fake mafia. He wasn't even like half mafia or woke mafia or like any of that. It's just, he was real mafia. Don't say that, Captain Seamus. Don't say that. I'll get paperwork in the mail. Like, hey, this woman shit out a kid. She's saying it's yours. Named him Little Jeff Mack. No. Don't put that out there. Loyal justice. Just lay there and take it. That is not how I get down. That is not how I get down. I'm kind of surprised she didn't tag me on Twitter. That's what happened last time. We covered her in DC. There was some sort of false flag event where they were trying to get demonstrators or patriots or somebody. They were trying to get somebody to show up in the front yard of the White House and all that stuff. And then nobody showed up, and the only person that got arrested was actually an FBI agent. But she was there covering all of that stuff. And I'm pretty sure that was the first time I had covered her. And it was very similar to how it was the other night. But then after the live, she like tagged me in a bunch of stuff on Twitter. I wonder if she's banned on Twitter right now, because she's banned on everything. I don't know if you heard that when she said it 300 times. She's banned on everything. But yeah, I was not being tagged. I was really expecting it. Might have been the hangover I'm sure she had. She was having fun protesting that night. And Jeff Reynolds, she did help get my name out there to everybody in New York. She was wandering around telling everybody, saying my name. She was talking directly to me during the live, like telling me stuff directly. It wasn't even about anybody watching. Yeah, Craig. No way he's real mafia. If he was real mafia, I'm sure he'd be with someone else. That's probably the appropriate way to word that. XRP, that woman's the devil. Yep. I agree. Kyle said Corinne's autistic. Now the live's gonna get shut down. Good lord. Who told you it'd be that funny? Man, Corinne's friend was screaming whiskey dick. They were saying terrible things. Talking about unvaccinated seed in the who of highs. Oh man. They were getting real creative. It takes a lot to impress me. They were getting real creative out there. Yeah, XRP, she's under attack. Would she say something like, I don't know, making it sound like being a live streamer is like your life is constantly in danger or something. That's why she needed a bodyguard. Who's real mafia? Kevin, getting a blizzard today. What? Kevin, are you in Michigan? I can't remember. Like, are you telling me that I'm getting a blizzard today? Where's the weather on my phone here? I feel like we've had nonstop bad weather for like over a week now. Like I was sick and dying and then got better just in time for single degree weather and lots of snow. Lots and lots of snow. Sure, crazy. Don't say that stuff. Don't say that stuff. It takes a lot to impress me. Oh, Kevin, I'm not sure where that is. I'm not very familiar with Canada. Sort of familiar. Not really. Drawing a blank here. Closer to Michigan. Canada closer to Michigan. That's pretty much the only area I'm familiar with. If you're close enough, we'll have the same weather, but I don't want a blizzard. Man, East Coast is getting hit with blizzards. I'm just going to stay inside. To hell with it. There's people outside. I don't need that. Need all that drama. TJ Stonehouse, what is RMR? Half the stuff I should Google before I say it out loud. It's probably something racist. Like the horses. Those border horses, they're racist if you didn't know that. Newton, her friend wasn't a quadriplegic. She was a paraplegic. But she was talking about them standing up to the cops, and then everybody was saying that there was miracles. You guys are terrible, okay? You guys are a bunch of hooligans. A bunch of hooligans. Loyal Justice, I do not know anything about the monolithic Stonehenge at the bottom of Lake Michigan. Like, I don't know. There's a bunch of weird lore about the lake. I don't really know anything about it. For a water sign, I honestly just do not like being in the water. I'm more cat-like. Instead of being a Pisces, I should have been like a Leo or something, because I'm way more cat-like than fish-like. I don't know anything about the lake, really. Okay, Kevin. So we're probably getting similar weather. Bad weather. Nah, Dark Star. You know old man Walter, he's gonna be real late. We're on 17 minutes late. Let's check the White House schedule and make sure they didn't reschedule, because they're good for it. Nope. As far as I could tell, it hasn't been rescheduled. He's just late. Sure, crazy. I think everybody likes her 1-900 phone number voice. She speaking softly to the audience. Newton, you think there's Confederate gold in the bottom of the lake? I don't know. I feel like there's secrets in the lake. There's a couple places in these small towns here on the west side of Michigan that have suspicious behavior. I'm sure the lake has lots of secrets. I'm not sure how things used to be, 100 years ago here in West Michigan, but the way that these towns are so small that they're called villages. And lots of weird stuff, lots of weird political stuff. These towns are so small that if the high ups don't like you, they will push you out of town. They'll jack your rent up. They'll get you fired from your job. Bunch of weird stuff. Lots of Masonic buildings and stuff like that here. I think we got some secret society stuff going on in West Michigan. I bet the lake has tons of secrets. Yeah, Kevin, we got the dog man. What is it? The Manistee National Forest dog man. It's like Michigan's werewolf. I think there's even a song about the dog man. Snow possum. It's cold and deep like Corinne. You guys love Corinne. You love her. Adriana, I'm not sure what you mean. Loyal Justice, I do not have a Venmo. The only reason I don't have a Venmo is because I guess they're owned by PayPal. And so if you get banned on one, you get banned on the other one. And I already have PayPal. So I figured, why make a Venmo? I mean, I could. I've been told to make a Venmo. What does Oreo Express use? Buy me a coffee. I've thought about doing that stuff, but I've already got PayPal and Cash App. And there's Super Chat. And then there's 4 other platforms that let you donate. I just figured that was enough. Craig, you out there passing around Corinne's number? I'm surprised you guys didn't light her phone up. She was saying her phone number like 30 times. Did any of you guys actually try calling it? Jeff Downhauser, I used to swim in the lake when I was a kid. I don't even know the last time I went swimming. It's probably been I don't even know, 5 years or something since I've been in the lake, and that was the first time in 5 years or something. I don't like being wet. That's what she said. But yeah, I used to swim in the lake. Not so much now. Stonehouse. That's a resort. Is that a resort here in Michigan? I've never heard of that. Hydrodynamic, I believe we are scheduled to cover the Trump rally. Let me check my schedule really quick. I can't remember what day it's on. It's coming up though, isn't it? I can't tell. I'm looking at my calendar. I have intentions of covering it. I do not think we're going to be able to cover it on YouTube though. We'll have to cover the rally on the alternative platforms, Twitch, Odyssey, Rumble, and Facebook. YouTube gets all butthurt whenever you put Trump on, and then they start handing out strikes and all this other penalizing crap. But I do intend on covering it. It's just certain things he says I can't let this stuff fly on YouTube. It'll hurt my channel. I'll look into it. Because I need a definite date and time. But I do plan on covering it. XRP, you're a Pisces too, February. Heck yeah, our birthday's coming up. We're getting old. Thank you so much, Darkstar, for your donation and your support. I really appreciate you. XRP, how old are you going to be in February? I think there's a lot of Pisces here in the chat. There was on my birthday last year. It was like everybody's birthday was going on. Kevin, no, I did not see the pics you posted in Discord. I will definitely check it out though. Is it in the general chat or did you DM them to me? Ren American, you're a Pisces too. I'm telling you, I bet there's a lot of Pisces here in the chat. Faded Operator, Michigan sounds like a different country. It's something. It is something. Been to a lot of places, but never been to another place like Michigan. It's weird. When I go to Florida, people in Florida can tell I'm from Michigan like immediately. I don't know if it's because my pasty white skin or my black clothes or how my voice is all nasally, which I guess is a Michigan thing, but they can spot me in a heartbeat. Go down there, go to the gas station, buy some liquor, and they're like, "You're from Michigan, aren't you?" Like just standing there stunned, like, how do you know? I was just tree hugging a palm tree like 15 minutes ago. I'm practically a Floridian. Nope, they can spot me. American Hillbilly Me, yeah, every day. We watch Jen Psaki say that stuff every day. Loyal Justice, you called the phone number and it was a dude named Owl. Why would Corinne want us to call that number? It should have been like that, those funny phone numbers where you call and it's like Santa, like an automated message with Santa, or saying that you got led on or you were given a fake phone number because whoever gave it to you thinks you're a bum. You're a bum, bro. See, we should get that as a soundbite. Actually, let me write that down. I wonder though. I wonder what that. Did anybody Google her phone number to see if it brings anything up? Now we got to investigate. I wonder how long it's going to take for me to dig through the George Floyd trial to find you're a bum, bro. Get that fist choker. That's what she said. Nah, Rain, I don't catch the plague. The plague catches me. That's how it goes. It's like Chuck Norris. I don't catch the plague. Lion's Heart, a Fed trap. Everybody's a Fed. You know, you see people not wearing masks, they must be a Fed. They must be a Fed plant. Wexford Dogman. It's a great WWF name. Noon, you know it's WWE now, right? There was like a lawsuit and stuff. I think you're aging yourself. I said WWF the other day to someone who didn't even know what that was. They didn't even know what I was talking about. I was like, how you ain't never seen wrestling? They're like, you mean WWE? I was like, oh, you're in that age group. I see. Trigger Crazy, you messaged her the first time she gave her phone number out, back in DC at the false flag protest? I know, that's why she's your problem and she's becoming my problem. You need to get your Corinne under control, okay? You need to get your lady in check. She said my name 500 times the other night. At least. XRP, it's on Saturday. What is today? Is today Friday? So tomorrow's the Trump rally? Yeah, we will definitely cover it. I wonder why it's not on my schedule for that. I must have misscheduled it. I don't know. I'm going to blame Who Through. He's the one that tags me for all the events and stuff. I'm going to make it his fault. It's not my fault. You know what? Trump did it. That's all I know. Trump did it. Rain, when am I going on Tim Pool? You know, I've never watched Tim Pool before. I've only heard of him through you guys. I think I follow him on Twitter, but I've never actually watched him speak or anything like that. I doubt Tim Pool is going to invite me on. Rain, am I going to come out against Trump too? What does that mean? You talking about everybody turning their back on Trump because he didn't save the J6 people? I'm on the hooligan side. I'm not taking those people's side. Trump could be a total lying pedo, but I don't know. I haven't seen any proof on that. I just go off what I'm seeing. So far, he's doing better than old man Walter, and that's all I know. I'm not turning against anybody. Andrew, what day is your B-day, Jeff? All right, let's take a poll. What day do you guys think my birthday's on? I know some of you actually know. What day do you think my birthday's on? Loyal Justice. Corinne posted her dick pics. They're all different sizes and colors, though. You guys are going to get me banned. Hamilton. Are you trolling me? I'm not going to be in... I've never even been to DC. You must be trolling. Face, you think it's my accent that makes it so people could tell I'm from Michigan? It could be. It could be. Stonehouse, I'll have to check it out. I think I have friends that go there. I've never even been to a resort. I just live here on the live. I'm not even a person. I'm a thing. I just live here on the live. But I'll have to look into it because I think I have friends that have gone out there. Tia, your birthday's on the 3rd. We're all going to be celebrating our birthdays together. John, you love Michigan, but the sunrise side over by Detroit and all that. I've been to Detroit a few times. Never really spent a lot of time there, though. I'm always there for other reasons. More like just because it's a destination, not really because of what Detroit has to offer. JC, you better watch your tone. You're going to get banned. It's been a while since I hit somebody with the ban hammer, but, you know, you're signing up. Over here crying over Trump. Trump's not even talking today. There's no reason to, you know, start crying and stuff. It'll be okay. Newton, you're killing me today. He's on fire! Killing me. This Jen Psaki's dad. The wolf man. Dog man, I mean. Loyal Justice, Jesus was a Capricorn. I've heard a lot about Jesus when I was a chaplain and stuff, because I was a chaplain for like 2 years. Never heard Jesus was a Capricorn, though. That is interesting. I'll try and remember that. I know a lot of people that are still chaplains and stuff. I'll have to ask them what they think about that. Some of them are really, really uptight. One of the guys I used to work with when I was a chaplain, he would actually get offended if you said good luck. He had some stuff going on, and I remember telling him he had to go somewhere to leave early. He had some stuff going on at his house, and I was like, oh, well, good luck, you know, dealing with what you got going on. He looked at me with his face all twisted up. He said, I got God. I don't need luck. And then slam the door and walk out. Well, all right, never mind. Fuck you then. Life's funny like that. All right, Kevin, I'll check it out. I appreciate you. I'm sitting here reading through all these projected birth dates, and I'm surprised that not one of you got it right. What happened? What happened? You guys used to be so on top of this. My birthday is on the 11th. Lord is, you got the closest, I think, out of everybody. I can't believe it. Not one person got it right. Are you guys even paying attention? Donnie, Jeff only goes to Detroit for the drive-bys. I mean, you know, they do it the best. You don't always survive the ones in Chicago, so, you know, I just go over to Detroit. Strippers and cocaine. Faded operator, I don't know what you're responding to, but it sounds like you're having the time of your life over there. Uh-oh, is it old man Walter?
Come on, man.
Look at him lost. He don't even know where he is. We need Special Agent Bald Nugget to show him where to go.
Mr. President.
And their audio's off sync. That's cute.
He pledged to use the power of the presidency to help everyday Americans, to bring people together, to rebuild our country. He and Vice President Harris are doing just that, proving that America can do big things again. With both parties in Congress, a truly bipartisan effort, President Biden is delivering the largest investment in infrastructure since Eisenhower. So for most people, the largest in our lifetimes. A generational investment, a really big deal. 60 days ago, President Biden gave me a mission upon signing the bipartisan infrastructure law to help build a better America. It should not go unnoticed that the key part here is better. So what does a better America look like? Better looks like modern roads and bridges, rail and transit, so we can get to school and work on time. Better looks like high-speed internet so that all of our kids have the tools they need to learn, so farmers can use precision agriculture, and so that seniors can access telemedicine and so much more. Better looks like removing lead pipes, cleaning up abandoned oil and gas wells that dirty communities, building 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations that prepare us for our future. Better looks like creating good-paying union jobs, a top priority for this president. The better is making it possible for companies to manufacture more products right here in America, to build our supply chains here so that Americans can get what they need more efficiently and lower cost. Better looks like using this investment in our infrastructure and our people to build more resilience and combat climate change, which threatens us all. And finally, and most importantly, better looks like rebuilding America in ways that move all of us forward with equity at the center of everything that we do, so that no community and no person is left behind, because we are better together and because diversity is this nation's greatest strength. That is what building a better America looks like. Mr. President, your team has hit the ground running. 60 days in, billions of dollars are headed to the people of America through the states, local governments, territories, and tribes. We're breaking down silos across agencies. This is a one-team, one-fight mission to build a better, stronger America. And since we haven't spent this kind of money on infrastructure in generations, we're also talking about how to do it with accountability, making sure we can be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and deliver results on time, on task, and on budget. Mr. President, with this cabinet and the partners we have on the state and local level, with community leaders and the people of this great nation, we are up to the challenge. It won't be easy. Nothing worth doing, if ever is. So, Mr. President, you set a very high standard, but we're going to put our shoulder to the wheel, and we're going to get it done for our beloved country. Thank you. Please welcome the President of the United States.
Well, thank you.
Timer starts now. Is he going to cough in 2 minutes?
There's a lot of talk about disappointments and things we haven't gotten done. We're going to get a lot of them done, I might add. But this is something we did get done, and it's of enormous consequence to the country. One of the reasons I put Mitch Landrieu in charge of implementing the infrastructure bill is because he gets it. He's a former mayor who knows that the real measure of success is not, did we score some partisan points? It's, did we fix the problem? Did we fix the problem? This is all about fixing the problem. I ran for president to unite the country. This bipartisan infrastructure law I signed 2 months ago unites us around things we all depend on. Whether you're in rural Kentucky or downtown Philadelphia, you should be able to turn on a faucet and drink clean water. Students should be able to get the internet if they need it to do their homework at home instead of having to drive to a fast food parking lot. People need good jobs. Mitch has told me about the man he met in Jackson, Mississippi, who told him, quote, "I don't mind working 3 jobs. I just don't want one paycheck across all 3 jobs." You know, we've heard it said, talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. When we invest in infrastructure, we're really investing in opportunity. These are investments that will build a better America. Sounds like hyperbole, but it's real. So today I want to talk about the progress we made in 2 months since I signed the bill into law, and to make a big announcement as well. Here's some of what we've done so far. The Department of Transportation has released nearly $53 billion to states to modernize highways. So you have to leave 30 minutes earlier to get to work just because of a traffic jam. That's going to be fixed. We've announced more than $240 million in grants to improve ports in 19 states to speed up and strengthen our supply chains, lower cost, and get you the things you need more quickly. We've announced $3 billion for over 3,000 airports around the country to make them more modern, safe, and sustainable. And we're kicking off the largest investment in affordable, reliable, high-speed internet in our nation's history, $65 billion to get to every corner of our country connected, urban, rural, and suburban. Our infrastructure work also protects health, cleans up the environment, and helps us fight climate change. Across this country, people have been struck, and they've been struck by all the changes that are needed. Come on, man. They're stuck, they're angry, they're sickened by the broken water and sewer systems, polluted water from the faucets, raw sewage in their backyards. I want you to know, I see you, I hear you, we understand. And I've seen and we've understand the damage done in places like Flint, Michigan, and Jackson, Mississippi. So we've already announced over $7 billion in clean water funding to states so they can fix and upgrade their aging water systems and sewer systems. It's going to take some time, but the money's there and they're getting the money. Our children deserve no less. We've also released an action plan to replace all of our nation's lead pipes in the next decade. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Everyone in this country should be able to turn on the faucet and drink clean water. And it's time to get back to the business of cleaning up the hazardous waste sites that poison our land and water and have stricken entire communities, and getting back to holding polluters accountable to keep that pollution from happening in the first place. The Environmental Protection Agency has announced $1 billion to clean up 49 Superfund sites in 24 states. We're talking about cleaning up rivers in Ohio, chemical plants and sites in Florida, polluted lakes in Michigan, and many more. This is long overdue, and we have to stick with it. The Department of Interior is launching a program to cap and plug orphaned oil and gas wells that are spewing methane into the air and are dangerous. Many of these wells are in southwestern Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio, but there are hundreds of thousands of them all across the nation. Capping them is going to create quality jobs, just as it took to dig the well, union jobs to close the well, to keep it safe. One of the ways we're going to reach my goal of 100% carbon pollution-free electricity by 2035 is with wind energy. I visited one of the renewable energy labs in Colorado about a month ago and saw technologies being developed there. And just this week, the Department of Interior also announced the largest ever offshore wind lease sale, which could generate enough clean energy to power nearly 2 million homes and create thousands of jobs in manufacturing, construction, operations, and maintenance. It's just the beginning. Jobs that can't be outsourced. We've also seen the impact of extreme weather, taking down transmission lines, leaving cities and communities dark for weeks. So the Department of Energy launched a new initiative to speed up our efforts to strengthen our energy grid with new and upgraded transmission lines and towers, keeping the power flowing for Americans with cleaner, cheaper, and more reliable energy. And that's going to happen. It's going to make a big difference. I also want to be clear. We're in this to win. And, you know, there's a lot of work underway. And it's going to create a whole lot of jobs. And that brings me to the announcement I want to make today. It's just part of the infrastructure bill. My bipartisan infrastructure law includes the largest investment in our nation's bridges since the creation of the interstate highway system. Bridges to connect us, bridges to make America work. Across our country right now, there are 45,000 bridges, 45,000, that are in poor condition. We're seeing photos of some of them behind me in all 50 states. And I've had a chance to see some of them myself as I've traveled the country. I was up in New Hampshire, visited a bridge where, if it's not upgraded, weight restrictions could mean that school buses and fire trucks would have to travel an additional 10 miles out of the way to get to the other side of the river to deal with getting to school and/or putting out a fire. In New Jersey, I just visited the busiest rail bridge in the Western Hemisphere. But because it's not tall enough for ship traffic, it needs to swing open to let barges through. And sometimes when it closes, the rails need to be manually sledgehammered back into place. This slows commerce, increased cost. I went down to Louisiana and saw the I-10 bridge. I stood with the mayor and looked at that bridge. It's 20 years past its planned life. It's handling more than double the number of crossings it was designed to handle, and it's 2 lanes narrower than the interstate that feeds into it, causing backups and accidents. Today, the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, is in Philadelphia at the Martin Luther King Bridge, which crosses the Schuylkill River. The bridge is no longer safe for vehicles, even though it used to carry 25,000 vehicles a day. As we prepare to celebrate Dr. King's birthday, we're also reminded that too often bridges and highways were built through the heart of historic communities, particularly black communities, cutting off families, churches, and businesses. We're going to use our infrastructure investments to reconnect communities. One thing I'm certain of, everyone out there knows what I'm talking about. People have written me about bridges they depend on. One man told me that the bridge he traveled on every day is a tragedy waiting to happen. One woman wrote that a bridge near the center of her town had to be closed. And now drivers and tourists bypass downtown, consequently devastating local businesses. And one person wrote to me to say, quote, "This is your chance to show the people in my area that they matter to you," end of quote. I hear you. I hear you. You do matter to me, and we are going to get it done. My infrastructure law includes a total of $40 billion in funding for bridge improvements. $12.5 billion of that is going to replace the most economically significant bridges in the country. These are bridges like, and I've seen them, the Brent Spence Bridge, connecting Ohio and Kentucky, the I-5 Columbia River crossing, connecting Washington and Oregon, you know, the Blatnick Bridge, connecting Minnesota and Wisconsin. But about 2/3 of the bridges in need of repair in this country are considered what they call off-system, because they're not directly connected to the interstate highway system. These are the bridges that are often overlooked when decisions are being made, but they are essential for small towns, rural towns, farmers to get their products to market, small businesses to be able to serve customers. These are the bridges that, when they're closed, shut off deliveries and routes to school, work, and home. They create longer delays for first responders when every second counts. So we've included $27.5 billion for smaller bridges, including dedicated funding for those off-system bridges I just described. And because maintaining these bridges is often the responsibility of counties or towns whose budgets are stretched thin already, we decided to get rid of the requirement that counties or towns share in the cost. The federal government is going to pay for 100% of the cost for repairing these small bridges. Today, we're releasing the first year of that program, which is $5.5 billion. $5.5 billion to states and tribes to repair and rebuild bridges to make them safer and more usable. This is an investment that's going to help connect entire towns and regions to new opportunities. With this investment, we're sending the message to those communities and to the people who call them home. You matter. We're building back and building back better with you. We're making sure you're not left behind or left out. I'll end with this. These investments are consequential. We're just getting started. We're building back better than ever before. Clean water for every American. We've never done that before. Now we're going to do it. High-speed internet for every American. We've never done that before. Now we are. Connecting forgotten communities, capping wells that are dangerous, strengthening our power grid to make it more resilient to extreme weather changes. These are investments our country has never fully made. Now we are. You know, and we've arrived at this by a bipartisan agreement. There's nothing beyond our capacity when we work together. When we get this done, we'll get back to beating the world again. We've once again been #1 in the world instead of where we sit now at number 13 in terms of the quality of our infrastructure. And that's going to mean more jobs, good paying jobs, safer communities, and lower cost. We can do this. This is what a better America is going to look like. I want to thank you all for listening, and we got a lot of work to do. And the reason I asked Mitch to do this is because he knows how to get things done. I want every penny watched how this is spent. Just like when I did the Recovery Act in the last administration. It matters. It matters. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Do you have a message for Vladimir Putin?
Yep. So he failed. He coughed 60 seconds into the live. Totally didn't make it. And then they told, Jim Psaki yesterday told all those press people, hey, you got questions for old man Walter? Why don't you wait till tomorrow? You can ask him. Yeah, you see how that went. Every time. He's a bum, bro. He's a bum, bro. He's over here trying to sell us internet and bridges. Is that what we asked for? Is that what's in demand right now? Do we not have internet and bridges? It sounded like he was talking about Oregon Trail for a minute there. It's like, we have a long journey to go. Long walk ahead of us. Don't drown or get bit by a rattlesnake. I'm like, come on now. Old man Walter ain't worth nothing. Either way, that's all we have for lying and crying out of the White House. I don't have anything else on the schedule for today, but with it being Friday, maybe we'll get some action. Maybe Corinne will go out and, cause some nonsense. Maybe we'll see some genuine protesting, marching, crying, rallies, something. We'll find something. We will have to find something. It is Friday. But either way, I appreciate all of you for being here with me. Big shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership program, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all you guys, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you. So thank you so much for being here. Not sure what else is going on today, but I will keep my eyes open. If you haven't joined the Discord, please join the Discord. It is free. You download the app on your phone or access it through your computer. Go through my links in the description or find the link tree. Once you make it to the Discord, you'll be greeted with an automated message letting you know that you've done all you need to do in order to receive notifications for when and where we go live. There's 3,700 hooligans in there for you to converse with, and we have a news board that is constantly up to date with what's going on around the world. So definitely join the Discord. I'll be hanging out in the Discord for a little bit. I'm going to find some food, and then we're going to get on the search for more lives. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate all of you, and until the next live, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.